何を笑ってんだよ。その怪我で、この状況でお前、イカれてるよ。どうなっても知らねえぞ。
What's up, guys? It's Flossin. And, sorry. What's that I smell? Oh, it's just another anomaly agent. Welcome, Miyabi. I cannot wait for you to join my arsenal. Anyway, jokes aside, Miyabi just got drip marketed, and I want to talk about what we know, and more importantly, what we don't know, because there's definitely a lot to unpack here. Alright, first things first, Miyabi's an anomaly agent, but her element has sparked some serious speculation. Now, based on everything we've seen, it looks like she's ice, but then we have this icon, and I'll be honest, it's definitely thrown me off too. This icon doesn't quite match up with what we've typically seen on ice agents, and it's got me and a lot of other people thinking, could there be more going on here? I mean, I don't doubt that Miyabi will deal ice damage, that seems like a safe bet, but is that the only element she'll be using? Call me crazy, but I could see her being a dual element agent, dealing both ice and maybe even fire damage. I know it does sound like a bit of a reach, but hear me out. We have a new stunner around the corner, Lighter, who's effective in both ice and fire teams, thanks to his elemental shred. And if you look closely, there's a small spirit that accompanies Miyabi during her cinematics, one that seems to be engulfed in blue flames. Again, it could be a stretch, but I can't help but wonder if this hints at dual elements. And if I'm right, well, this doesn't exactly look good for Soldier 11. Also, a part of me thinks maybe this icon hints at some new mechanic that Hoyoverse wants to introduce with Miyabi. With her being a confirmed Void Hunter, she'd be the perfect character to bring something unique, maybe even a playstyle that involves multiple elements. Dual elements does seem fitting for a Void Hunter, don't you think? If Miyabi can truly cover multiple elements, it would make her an outstanding pull, especially for new players. She'd bring the flexibility to handle different enemy types without needing a full roster of specialized agents. For a new player, having a character who can effectively cover multiple elements is a huge advantage, saving time and resources that would otherwise go into building other agents. This kind of versatility would make her a fantastic addition to any team. Anyway, I want to dig a little deeper into what Miyabi's presence could mean for team building, and how she might reshape future teams in Zenless. With her ice element, there's a lot of potential for her to bring something unique to the anomaly agent lineup. For example, in Zenless, ice buildup is more than just freezing enemies. It has the added bonus of triggering frostbite when a frozen enemy is hit with a heavy attack. This crit damage increase of 10% might seem minor at first, but for agents who focus on high crit stats, it can snowball into huge damage numbers over the course of a fight. Imagine Miyabi stacking up those ice effects and then delivering a powerful hit that benefits directly from increased crit damage. Now think about this, Miyabi could potentially be the first anomaly agent to fully leverage crit focused stats, something we haven't really seen utilized to its full potential in this category. Let's be real, we've seen crit builds with characters like Bernice, but it's often a secondary playstyle. With Miyabi though, I could see crit being a central part of her gameplay. Imagine a build where her crit stats goes up just building anomaly proficiency on her. Plus, the more often she could freeze, the more damage she could dish out with those crit based stats. And with the right teammates, this playstyle could become even stronger. And speaking of teammates, I want to talk about Sukaku. Pairing Miyabi with Sukaku could bring some serious synergies. Both of them are ice agents from section 6, and if Miyabi can unlock Sukaku's full potential, we might see Sukaku finally get the respect she deserves. Early on, a lot of players felt that Sukaku was clunky or underwhelming because of her slower mechanics, but she's been low-key powerful for a while due to her consistent uptime on buffs. I think a lot of players might finally realize with the right setup, Sukaku is a powerhouse in her own right. Miyabi's release could change the way people look at Sukaku entirely, especially if the devs feature her as an A rank on Miyabi's banner. So here's my theory, Miyabi might just give Sukaku that long-awaited push into the spotlight. If Miyabi has mechanics that capitalize on crit and ice synergy, we might see a team that can freeze, shatter, and crit burst enemies all in one cycle. The potential of this could be insane, especially for players who didn't pick up Ellen, or who just want to focus on a crit-based strategy with high-level gameplay. Plus, speaking of Ellen, that brings me to another point. Ellen versus Miyabi. Now that we know Miyabi is likely going to be an ice damage dealer, people are wondering if she's going to power creep Ellen. My short answer, No, I don't think so. Look, as much as I joke about characters with similar elements stepping on each other's toes, I genuinely believe that both Ellen and Miyabi will each bring something unique to the table. It's not a simple case of one outshining the other. Instead, it's about offering players different options for different playstyles and scenarios. Now, do I think Miyabi will look flashier and even more powerful than Ellen when she releases? Yeah, probably. Hoyoverse has a pattern here. They tend to showcase new characters as the latest, shiniest upgrades, and I expect they'll tune content and balance to make Miyabi's strength shine. We saw this play out recently with Grace and Yanagi in the latest patch. When Yanagi arrived, many saw her as the better option for Shiyu defense and other high-stake content, and yet, even with all the hype around Yanagi, I was still able to clear Shiyu defense without any issues using Grace. Despite her being a quote-unquote worse option, a well-invested Grace was more than capable of handling the challenge, and that's really the core of it. A character's viability in Zenless isn't just about who's considered top tier in the meta. Any agent, when properly invested in, can perform well in the in-game content. So, if you are an Ellen main who's contemplating whether you should pull for Miyabi or skip her, I don't think you should worry about your Ellen being left behind. Ellen will absolutely hold her own, and as long as she's well built and invested, she'll stay competitive and relevant in tough content. Plus, with the way that Zenless is balanced, having multiple options for ice damage dealers, especially with only 2 being in the game, could actually add more flexibility instead of limiting it. I said in a previous video that when Miyabi releases, she might have an easier time dealing with ice enemies versus Ellen. Vice versa could be said for Ellen too. Maybe Miyabi has a better time dealing with Section 6 enemies, and Ellen could stay in her niche of dealing with ethereals. Again, this is just speculation, but anything's on the table right now. But yeah, I think that's enough yapping out of me. But I'm curious. What do you guys think? What do you think of Miyabi's drip marketing? Do you love it, hate it, and do you have any theories on what her element might be aside from ice? Let me know in the comments. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like down below. It's completely free and lets me know that you enjoy this type of content. Until next time though, happy gaming, and may your pulls be ever in your favor.